welcome back at InterDecco. Today we're making birds. They can be really lovely decorations for Easter, can be really good decorations for children, for games and so on. So we will be making this. What do we need? What material we need to create this is wool or cotton thread, hollow fiber, googly eyes, some black pipe cleaners, some feathers, some felt of different colors, but mainly I will be using white and brown. Or alternatively, again, instead of buying felt, I have used blankets. And if you're familiar, IKEA blankets, they're quite cheap and very easy to repurpose. So once the blanket is gotten very old, you can cut it up to lengthy, pieces of material. And this is what I've done to create my birds. So I'm going to put all of the materials and I introduce them one by one as we go through creating those birds. Okay, so what do we do? Okay, what was the inspiration for me to do this bird? Recently, when I was doing shopping, I found this particular bunting with birds in the air. So that's prompted me to create those birds of mine. But I wanted for the birds to appear like a 3D. And I felt that this is smaller shape or smaller size of the bird. So I've decided to create my own template and enlarge it a little bit. So this is what I've come up with. From this bird, the general idea, I've changed the appearance a little bit on the tail because I will be putting feathers. I will not be leaving this bird empty. So this is the starting point. So I'm going to take this bird away and I'm going to show you the process, what I've done. So here we go. This bird is going to be done in this particular way. So this long strip of IKEA blanket folded on a half. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the bird here and I'm going to reuse the material as much as I can. And I'm going to put it in this direction. The tail can be shorter because when we put the feathers, the bird will appear even larger. So what do we do next? We trace it with a marker, with a texture or fabric marker. I remove this, and in order for me to cut it up properly, I will need some pins. Okay, and I'm gonna go around and cut. And this is what we get now. Okay, so it's pinned and this is ready to be sewn. So what I mean by sewing, I'm going to show you in a minute. So the material that I told you before, the cotton thread or the wool, needs to be used around the bird to create 2D version. So how I'm going to do this? Remember I mentioned we need to have a darning needle, quite thick needle for sewing, and we will be using blanket stitch. So I'm getting a bit of a length of the material like that. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to start from the bottom of the bird and I'm going to go all the way around and I'm going to open a little hole for the bird to be filled up with hollow fiber. So here we go. I'm starting here and with the darning needle I go through the blanket material like that, pull. Okay, so you can go either left or right depending if you're left-hander or right-hander. For the beginners who have never done blanket stitch, it's a good idea to create a little bit of a knot, so when you're pulling, the thread doesn't come off. And here we go. So from the cotton like this, I'm going from the top now, making a hole from the top. And the principle of the blanket stitch is to needle to be at the front and thread at the back. So I'm pulling it forward and pull. So this is what we get. This is the blanket stitch. Okay, so I do the same thing. Now I'm going to remove and move the pin a little bit further, and I'm making another hole. Okay, needle goes in front of the thread and then brings it forward. Pull again. Another one. Yeah, this one, it's okay, can be placed inside the end. And again, needle, thread behind and bring it forward. Pull. And goes on. So what I'm going to show you next is how I've continued in this direction a little bit further. So remember how we started with the bird here with the blanket stitch all the way around the bird, or like I said, you can go in the opposite direction towards on the left. It doesn't really matter because it will gonna be the same. The blanket stitch will appear on both sides, and we are leaving a little bit of a hole here so I can fill it up with hollow fiber. So this is what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna remove everything from here so it's not in our way, and I'm gonna show you the next step. So I'm removing this pin from here, and I am opening the belly of the bird. Okay, so I need to put hollow fiber all the way, here we go, all the way to the bird, to the bottom of the bird, or rather the wings. You can use the scissors to help you a little bit to push it, or you can use your pen, or you can use your needles or crochet hooks. Same thing, we fill up the head of the bird and the beak, but the beak you don't need to worry too much because we're going to put an extra felt for the beak. Okay, like that, and we keep filling and keep filling until we're happy with how the bird appears. Okay, so when we're happy with the look of the bird, what we do, we put a pin again and close it, with the stitch, or with the material, or with rather the thread that we had left over, and using the same stitch, blanket stitch, continue and close the hole. Now I'm going to show you how the finished bird will look like. Okay, so with the leftover thread, we'll close the belly of the bird and follow the stitch, and we're going to get this completed bird. Okay, so I'm going to move that away, and I'm going to show you the next step. On this bird, you can see I've already glued the beak, which is normally what I'm using, a little triangle of the brown felt. So you fold it like that, and you get even smaller triangle, and glue it on the bird's beak. So that's where the beak doesn't need to be filled up too much, nor the tail. The feathers will be glued in here. What is the next step? The eyes. And on the other side. So we got the eyes and the beak ready. What is the next thing? The next thing is to choose what color feathers do we want to put on the bird. Do we want to put green feathers? Maybe blue? Or even maybe just a simple white. It's entirely up to you. So I'm gonna go with blue now. So because the feathers are quite long, I'm just gonna cut them on a half. And to match for the other side, I'm gonna cut it on a half. I'm gonna move those away. We put glue again. You can also sew it up if you wish. And put the smaller piece of feather first. In one direction or another. Then on top of that, I'm going to put the little one. And this is how the bird will appear. I'm going to repeat the same procedure on the other side. I'm going to put the thicker feather first. I'm going to put the smaller feather. And this is what we got. Now, if we want for the feathers to stay a little bit longer, you can do the following. You can add additional piece of felt, for example, like that. Glue it on top of the feathers. Okay. Or alternatively, if you want for those birds to be usable for children only, you don't put the feathers, because children generally might put them in the mouth. So you just want to stick with felt. Okay, and repeat the process on the other side. Here we go. And these birds can be like this, and they can be washable. Okay. You can sew it up using cotton and thread as well. You don't have to put googly eyes for the children if you are scared that they're going to put them in their mouth. So you can do whatever makes you happy. So you can use it as a simple toy. You can just make them of a different material. And I'm going to show you what I've done. So this is the finished bird. So what I've done here, apart from the feathers, like I said, what I've done, I've put a little bit of extra felt. And then a little bit more of feathers again on the side of the bird. Same thing on the other side. So this appears open and it gives a effect like the bird is flying. Okay, so this is the finished product. I've put a little hanger hook here, so you can use it for wreaths, you can use it for decorations, so simple decorations for toys, pranks for children, if you're not going to put the ribbons. You can do the same thing here. If you wish, you can also create bird's feet from pipe cleaners, like I said. So what is the procedure here? What I've done, nice and easy. Crisscross it and tie it together. If you think that the claws or the legs are a little bit longer, you can chop it off a little bit within the blanket stitch, of course, to hold. And you can make 2 of those, and this is what it is. Okay, now let's go to some useful tips and ideas. What else can you do, and how to make them more individual and to your taste and easily usable for children. You can use different color felt, okay, to cut up your birds. This is like a aqua blue felt, and this is what I've made from aqua blue felt. So I've used, instead of white cotton, I've used orange. You can use pink. You can use any color you want. And like I said, you can just keep the bird without the feathers, and that will be safe for children. So that is one tip. What else can you do? Can you use different color felt? Of course you can. You can make the birds to be yellow, to be dark. You can use brown, any type of felt, any type of material. You can do green birds for all I care. It's little lorikeets and little parakeets. They all come in different colors and sizes. So this template will be available through the link for all my subscribers. Now, you can use it, you can enlarge it any way you want, or as big or as small as you want. So to summarize, these lovely birds can be made so easy. All you need to is a couple of pieces of wool, or different color wools as you want, some feathers, or even without the feathers to be safe for children, or as much feathers, you can put even more if you want. So these are the 3 finished products that I've made. Thank you everybody for watching, and let me know if you like this particular creation. Please subscribe to InterDecco. Have a wonderful day and happy Easter.